My husband blew $4,500 on a mobile game and framed our 8-year-old son, so I locked him out of our life and the bank accounts. I dropped the mug. It didn't shatter. It just bounced on the woven rug, spilling lukewarm coffee across the beige fibers, spreading like a dark, ugly stain. I didn't even flinch. I didn't rush to grab a paper towel. I couldn't move because my eyes were glued to the terrifying number on the Chase mobile app, $4,562.98. The vendor line was cryptic but unmistakable. Apple.com bill. My hands started shaking so violently, I almost dropped the phone too. It was January 11. The Christmas credit card bill had just posted. We had budgeted carefully this year, painfully carefully. We set a hard limit of $500 for gifts. We cooked dinner at home instead of going to a steakhouse, and we canceled our trip to visit my parents. We were saving for a down payment on a house in a school district that didn't have metal detectors. We were supposed to be tightening the belt. We were supposed to be a team. And now, nearly $5,000 was gone, vaporized into the digital ether. I felt the blood drain from my face, leaving me cold and dizzy. The air in the kitchen suddenly felt too thin to breathe. There was only one logical explanation. My 8-year-old son, Leo. We had given him a refurbished iPad for Christmas so he could play Minecraft and Roblox with his cousins. We thought we had set up the parental controls. We thought we were smart. But kids are digital natives. Maybe we missed a toggle switch. Maybe he guessed the password. I marched up the stairs, the wooden steps creaking under my feet like ominous drum beats. I could hear the digital sounds of Roblox coming from his room, that incessant jumping noise, the collecting of coins, the cheerful, repetitive music that usually signaled a quiet Saturday morning. Today, it sounded like a siren. I threw the door open with enough force that it banged against the wall. Leo was sitting on his beanbag chair, tongue poking out the corner of his mouth, tapping away at the screen, completely innocent, completely oblivious. "Leo," I said, my voice trembling with a mixture of rage and panic. "Put the iPad down, now." He jumped, startled by my tone. He scrambled to sit up straight. "Mom, I'm just playing Adopt Me." I didn't. "I said put it down," I snapped, snatching the device from his small hands. I looked at him, feeling sick to my stomach. "Leo, did you buy Robux? Did you buy skins? Tell me the truth right now." "No," he said, his eyes going wide, filling with immediate fear. "I swear." "Do not lie to me," I shouted, the stress finally breaking my composure. The vein in my neck was throbbing. "There is $4,000 missing, Leo. 4,000. Do you have any idea what you've done? That's our house money. That's our future. How could you be so irresponsible?" I was hyperventilating. I was ready to ground him until he was 30. I was ready to sell the iPad, his toys, maybe even my own car to fix this hole in our finances. I was looking at my son and seeing a thief. Leo's lip quivered. Tears pooled in his massive brown eyes and spilled over his cheeks. He curled into a ball, pulling his knees to his chest, looking terrified. Not guilty, terrified. "I didn't do it, Mommy," he wailed, his voice cracking into a high-pitched sob. "I promised I wouldn't." "Then who did, Leo? The iPad ghost?" I hissed, looming over him. "I am looking at the bill. Stop lying to me." "It was Dad," he screamed, covering his face with his hands to hide from my anger. "Dad said I could buy the skins if I didn't tell you. He said it was our secret. He said you wouldn't understand." I froze. The room went dead silent, save for Leo's hiccuping sobs. The heat that had been radiating off my skin turned to ice. "What did you say?" I whispered. "Dad," Leo cried into his hands, his voice muffled. "He takes the iPad at night when you go to sleep. He plays his game. He told me if I told you, he'd take the iPad away forever. He made me pinky promise." My stomach dropped through the floor. It wasn't Roblox. I looked down at the iPad in my hands. I unlocked it. Leo's code was easy, Tetra 1. I didn't go to Roblox. I went to the App Store purchase history. There it was, row after row of transactions. $99.99, $49.99, $99.99. The best value packs, the gem bundles. But they weren't for Roblox. They were for Gacha Legends, Summoner's War. A game Leo didn't play. A game my husband, Greg, had been casually playing on his phone for months. And suddenly, I wasn't standing in my son's bedroom anymore. I was transported back in time. 2 years ago. The memory hit me like a physical blow. It was the summer of the Honda. Our transmission had blown on the Civic. We needed $2,000 to fix it. We had the money in our emergency fund, or so I thought. I was standing at the mechanic's shop, card in hand, when the machine beeped. Declined. I called Greg in a panic. He didn't answer. I called the bank. They told me the account was empty, overdrawn actually. When I got home that day, Greg was sitting at the kitchen table with his head in his hands. He confessed. He had gotten hooked on online sports betting. He thought he had a system. He thought he could turn our $2,000 into $10,000 and surprise me with a vacation. Instead, he chased his losses until the well was dry. "I'm sick," he had cried, clinging to my legs while I sat on the floor, numb. "I have a problem, Sarah. I'm addicted to the rush. Please don't leave me. I'll change. I'll go to meetings." And I stayed. I forgave him. I went to the Gam-Anon meetings. I managed the finances for a year. He deleted the apps. He got a dumb phone for 6 months. He rebuilt my trust brick by brick. He swore on his mother's grave, on our marriage, on our son's life, that he would never gamble again. "It's behind me," he had told me just last week, smiling as we looked at Zillow listings. "I'm a new man." He wasn't a new man. He was just a better liar. I looked at the iPad screen again. Gacha Legends, it's loot boxes. It's gambling for kids wrapped in bright colors and anime girls. He found a loophole. It wasn't sports betting, so in his twisted addict brain, it didn't count. But this time, it was worse. Infinitely worse. 2 years ago, he hurt me. Today, he used our son as a human shield. I looked at Leo, who was still sobbing on the beanbag. I dropped to my knees and pulled him into my arms. I felt like the worst mother on the planet. I had just traumatized him because his father was a coward. "I am so sorry, Leo," I whispered into his hair, rocking him back and forth. "You are not in trouble. Mommy made a mistake. You told the truth, and that was very brave. You are safe." "Is Dad going to be mad?" Leo sniffled, wiping his nose on my shirt. "No," I said, a cold steel resolve hardening in my chest. "Dad doesn't get to be mad." I stood up. "Stay here, baby. Play Minecraft. Put your headphones on." I walked to the master bedroom. It was 10:15 a.m. on a Saturday. Greg was still in bed, scrolling on his phone, the duvet pulled up to his chin. He looked cozy. He looked comfortable. He looked up, smiling lazily. "Hey, babe, coffee ready? I smelled it brewing." "Get out," I said. My voice was calm, dangerously calm. It was the voice of a woman who had nothing left to lose. "What?" He sat up, confused, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "What's wrong? Did something happen?" I tossed the iPad onto the bed. It landed hard against his leg. "Leo told me." Greg's face didn't crumble with guilt immediately. It twitched. He tried to calculate the odds. He scoffed, rolling his eyes, attempting to play the role of the annoyed parent. "Told you what? That he went on a spending spree. I warned him, Sarah. I told him to be careful with the buttons. Kids, right? They don't understand the value of money. We should probably call the bank, say it was unauthorized, maybe claim fraud." He was doing it. He was doing it right to my face. He was doubling down on the lie. He was going to file a false police report to cover his tracks. "Stop," I whispered. "Just stop." "What?" Greg said, putting on a performance of righteous indignation, sitting up straighter. "Are you mad at me because he messed up? I told you we shouldn't have gotten him the iPad. You spoil him." "It's not Roblox, Greg," I said, holding up my phone with the bill displayed, shoving it inches from his nose. "It's Gacha Legends. Leo doesn't play Gacha Legends, you do. I checked the screen time logs, Greg. These purchases happened at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Leo goes to bed at 8:30. The color drained from his face instantly. The arrogance vanished, replaced by the pathetic, sniveling look I remembered from 2 years ago. He looked like a deer in headlights. He tried to stammer, to find another lie, but he had nothing. The evidence was mathematical. I was testing the drop rates," he mumbled, his voice shrinking into a whine. I thought it was linked to my personal card, not the family account. I was going to pay it back. I had a system. With what money, Greg? I screamed, the rage finally exploding out of me. Your personal account is empty. I checked. You spent $4,000 on pixelated wafers and then you told our son to lie to me. You let me scream at him. You let him cry. I didn't want you to freak out, he yelled back, shifting into defense mode, throwing the covers off. You're always so controlling about the budget since the Honda thing. You watch every penny. I needed a release. Work has been stressful. I deserve a hobby. A hobby, I laughed, a manic, broken sound that hurt my throat. Knitting is a hobby. Hiking is a hobby. Stealing your family's down payment is theft. You framed your son. You financially crippled us. Again, that's not stress relief. That's sociopathic. I can fix it, he pleaded, reaching for my hand. I can pick up extra shifts. I can sell my golf clubs. Please, Sarah, don't do this. Remember the counseling. Remember forgiveness. I forgave a man who made a mistake, I said, recoiling from his touch like he was radioactive. I did not forgive a man who would gaslight an 8-year-old. You broke the pinky promise, Greg. You made him keep a secret from his mother so you could gamble. I walked to the closet and pulled out his duffel bag. I started throwing his clothes into it. Jeans, shirts, underwear, I didn't fold them. I crammed them in. What are you doing? He asked, standing up in his boxers, looking pathetic. You're leaving, I said. Go to your brother's house. I don't want to see you. You can't kick me out. It's my house, too. Watch me, I hissed. I'm calling your brother right now. I'm telling him exactly why you're coming over. I'm telling him you stole from your kid's future to gamble on a mobile game. Do you want me to post it on Facebook, too? Do you want me to tell your boss why you're picking up extra shifts? Because I will. I will scorch the earth, Greg. He packed the rest of his bag in silence. He looked at me one last time, eyes wet, trying to summon that pity that saved him 2 years ago. I love you, Sarah. I'm sick. Get help, I said, but get out. He tried to go into Leo's room on the way out. I just want to say bye to. I blocked the doorway with my body. Don't you dare. You don't get to manipulate him anymore. You don't get to make him feel sorry for you. As soon as his car pulled out of the driveway, I didn't cry. I didn't collapse. I went into survival mode. I logged into the bank accounts. I changed every password. I removed his name from the joint credit cards. I called the bank and reported the cards as compromised to freeze them immediately. I transferred the remaining balance of our savings, what little was left, into a new account at a different bank that he didn't know existed. Then I called Apple support. I spent 3 hours on the phone, sobbing, explaining that my minor child had been manipulated into making purchases. They refunded $2,000 of it as a one-time courtesy. The rest is gone. Tuition for a lesson I thought I had already learned. I sat down on the floor with Leo and ordered pizza. We ate it right out of the box in the living room. Is Dad coming back? Leo asked, dipping his crust in ranch. Not for a long time, buddy, I said. Greg has been texting me nonstop for 2 days. He sends me screenshots of Gamblers Anonymous meeting schedules. He sends me long, rambling emails about his childhood trauma. He says I'm overreacting. He says it's just money. He says he can earn it back. But he still hasn't apologized to Leo. He hasn't acknowledged that he turned our son into an accomplice. He's only sorry he got caught. He's only sorry the ATM is locked. I'm meeting with a divorce lawyer on Monday. Not because of the money, though that hurts, but because I can never look at him again without seeing a man who would hide behind his terrified child to save his own skin. I gave him a second chance, and he used it to stab me in the back. So, am I the monster for nuking our marriage over a mobile game? Or did he spend his last chance the moment he decided to make our son the villain of his story?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.